Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome again here from our Nettetal office in Germany. On the other camera, you can see Frederick. He is located in Hong Kong. He will help me today with the nice webinar on the 900 series of Denon. And I have here in the background Anne-Sophie and Alex. They are operating all the technologies to get you the pictures, the sound, and the presentation on your screen at your home or in the office, wherever you are listening and watching. It will be tight, so I have to speed up a bit. 3 products in just roughly 35 minutes of my presentation time, in addition to 10 minutes of question and answer. I have to hurry a bit, so let's get it started. Very quickly to Denon, what Denon stands for. It's all the experience we can deliver to the human, to our customers, to the listener. And of course, if you listen, you want to have the Denon sound signature, and that's what we always take care for in the first place. Then we, of course, always look into innovations. What kind of new technologies can we bring into the product, to the customer? What kind of new components can we utilize to even improve the performance of our products? If we build in a new technology, it's always with a purpose. So we don't put a feature in the box just to check the checkbox, but really want to bring technology to our customers, which they can use, and they should be able to easily use it. As you can see on the fourth picture, we have a human design. We have always an eye on the user experience, on the ease of use of our products. So it shouldn't be complicated to access the music, to enjoy the music. And if we do everything right, and that's what we think we're doing pretty well, will help us to keep us the global leadership, because we are a leader in AVRs, and we're very strong in hi-fi as well. Today it's about hi-fi. Just briefly in a slide here on our sound philosophy. The nice guy you see pictured here is Yamochi-san, our Denon sound master located in Japan, where all our research and development is done, the sound tuning, and even production of some of our products in our own factory. Yamochi-san is working very closely with us here in Europe, because every product coming to European market or global market, we actually also audition here in Eindhoven, where we have a pretty nice listening room, and we do share our experiences, our findings, our evaluation results with Yamochi-san to fine-tune every product and to really bring up the best audio performance we can get out of a device. If we are only with 80%, we are not happy. If we are with 90%, we are not happy. We always want to go for 105%, which from time to time is a bit of pain in the ass because it takes a lot of time, a lot of part swapping, a lot of listening again. But in the end, we always achieve our goal, and we go for a vivid, lively sound, which has a lot of sparkling, has a lot of details. This really comes towards the listener, really gets the listener in touch with the music. And we want to have a very open and spacey sound characteristic, which is filling the room with music. So that's really the Denon sound we want to bring across with every product, and what we do with every product. A brief look to the hi-fi solutions we have in our portfolio today. You see it's quite a nice lineup of products from the entry to the upper class in the hi-fi segment. We do start with a stereo receiver, which is network capable. That's a DRA 800H. Then we come with the entry 600 units, which is also supporting Bluetooth, so you can do a bit of streaming. What we always have been lacking so far is a real hi-fi amplifier with streaming technology built in, and that's what we are going to bring now with the PMA-1700NE to the market. That's the one here's equipped. That's the one in the red rectangle here, and coming with that one is of course a matching CD player. And then above that one, we have the PMA-1700, where we already touched the premium class, the audiophile class of the hi-fi, of the Denon Hi-Fi segment. And on top, the anniversary model, the A110, which will continue for the coming years as well as a flagship in the hi-fi lineup. So let's have a look. These are all sound technologies we do utilize for Denon to get the sound performance you experience in your shops at home. So we always put a lot of attention to the digital audio domain. We have our own technologies. Mechanics is very important because you need a solid foundation. You need a strong power supply because that's where the energy is coming from. We have a different type of power amplification designs, which we utilize to get the best performance. And of course, what is always key, we have a big variety of selected audio components, sound making parts we call it, which are used to tune the products. Looking into the 900 series, you see some marked fields over here. These are actually now the technologies we utilize for the 900 series. We go into the digital domain, utilizing our digital processing, the AL32 processing, DUC master clock design. We have a solid foundation on the mechanical side with transformer base, rigid base chassis, high density feeds, shielding, and so on. Power supply itself having the capability of delivering higher current, minimum signal parts, and also selected components. I will cover these parts actually in the presentation, which is coming now. So let's go into the 900 series directly in. What was for us the key focus point? Key focus point was to get a real hi-fi solution in the mid-class segment of hi-fi with network connectivity. So getting our Denon reputation and good quality amplification combined with music streaming in the hi-fi segment. And we wanted to have the integration of TV as well, so that's why we incorporated digital inputs with input sensing. We have a nice matching CD player to it, so that you really can build a perfect system very easily, very affordable, and all together, of course, it will present the Denon sound quality. That was our key driver as well, because without Denon quality, it wouldn't be a Denon product, as you would agree. Here we go with the 900 solution. As mentioned, it's a nicely system. It's a nice solution which is perfectly fitting. So the amplifier and CD player have the same depth. So if you hook it up as a system, it's really fitting nicely into your living room. It comes in two colors, the black and the premium silver. Looking to the options we have with the PMA-1700NE, of course, a big part of it is the HEOS connectivity we have, which gives you access to all the music streaming services, but also is our gateway for AirPlay and Bluetooth, voice control, and also it supports, of course, the digital connectivity and remote learning capabilities we also have. You can connect, of course, analog CD player or also your turntable, and we do support here phono MC, so both cartridge types are available or supported. And yeah, all you need to add then is a pair of speakers, or you can listen also via the headphones. So it's very, let's say, compact product which is holding all the features. A big shot here, just to underline again how nicely this one is designed. Very solid aluminum front panel with a nice remote, a big display. So, but I'll go into details a bit later. On the rear, you can see all the connectivity starting on the top left. You have the digital inputs, 3 optical, 1 coaxial, and a USB input, which is supporting FAT32 and NTFS formatting of external hard disk. So that's very convenient then. Network connectivity by a LAN cable or Wi-Fi antennas. We do have the phono input, MC as mentioned, analog input, a subwoofer output. So for the people who really want to have more bass or just operating smaller speakers and want to support it by a subwoofer, that's also taken care of, and speaker AB. Just quickly on the HEOS built-in technology, you are all aware of it already, so I'll just jump over it. On the left-hand side, you see a picture of the module itself that's built into the unit itself. We have the support of the streaming services. We have the support of the local network so that you can do high resolution streaming from your NAS drive. You can do NAS, DSD, you can do FLAC. You have the voice control, it's all there. and you have the HEOS app to conveniently control everything. And here a glimpse on the HEOS app, because just to highlight again how straightforward it is built up. You have on the left-hand side, the first tab is Rooms, where you actually select your device you want to play the music to. You also have the possibility here to combine devices to play the same song on different devices at the same time in perfect sync. In the center, you see the source, where you actually select the music you want to play. And on the right-hand side, you have the now playing screen, where you can see what is actually playing, where you also can adjust the volume. And if you have a grouping of several rooms, you can also here adjust the volume independently per room or as a master. Looking to the inside of the 900NE, you see it's quite packed internally. Let's just have a brief look on the left picture. So on the left-hand side, you can see the power transformer. That's the one with the red and copper colors on it. That's where all the energy is coming out from. Above is just the power supply for standby and for the microprocessor circuitry. Very much in the center, you see the heatsink, just a single heatsink for holding both channels left and right. That's important because later on you will see a picture of the 1700 inside, and it looks very, very different. Just to highlight it already here. On the right-hand side, you see a big shiny box. That's actually a metal box holding all the digital connectivity, holding the DA conversion, holding as well the HEOS module. That's the one shining through on the top. And on the right-hand side, or let's say the picture in the middle, is just showing the preamplifier power supply. So also here I mentioned before, power supply is very important for any product, because you need a clean power supply for all sections in the product, because only if your power is clean, the amplified signal or the processed signal can be clean as well. So if we are failing on the power supply, and we can't fix it afterwards. So power supply, very important. Here is the one now for the preamplifier section, which actually is switching all the signals, or the power is used for switching all the signals, the volume control, cone control, and so on, before the signal will be passed on to the output stage. On the right-hand side, you can see the input board and all these little black bricks, I call it here, are relays, which are used to switch the signal to give it the right routing. This can be also done by integrated circuits, ICs. However, using a relay gives you the better performance. Here on the left-hand side, you now can see the power amplifier one more time. So that's a heatsink, the silver one. And in front of the heatsink, you see these two round components, which are actually pictured in the center as well. Again, these are the main capacitors, which feed the power to the output stage. So they are very crucial for the overall performance of the amplifier. And we selected some nice ones from Elna here, which are especially made for audio. On the right-hand side, you can see again some selected components, which are placed all over the place in the circuitry in all the different stages of the product, just to tune the sound in the direction we want to get it. What we have also applied here is a new electrical volume control. So I mentioned or gave a title to this screen, signal routing. What you can see on the picture on the right-hand side, the red lines are actually how the signal flow is. It enters the product on the top right, runs to the volume control. That's the little part in the center, and then it goes to left to get amplified on the output stage, and then it will be passed on to the speaker terminals. So the electrical volume control we use this in here has a nice refinement, because maybe I'll just have to add one more explanation here. I have this red cross on the picture on the right-hand side. normally on the former model, like the PMA-800, the audio signal would have need to pass on to the front panel, because their volume control and also tone control was located. However, with the new electrical volume control we applied now, this is not necessary anymore, and we could shorten the signal pass quite significantly. And by that, we also could minimize the noise level added to the signal. So by that, we overall have a better signal-to-noise ratio, and it improved by 7 dB. That's one part of the signal routing, but also related to the electrical volume control we use. And we use the Muse concept, which is also applied to the PMA-110. So that's actually where we learned about it. And this technology we now bring down the line to let also the more affordable product benefit from. What does it do? On the left-hand side, you can see actually input signal, tone control, and then we come to the volume control. And the volume control, we adjust not just on one area, but we do it on 2 areas at the same time. And by that, we can manage to always have the best signal-to-noise performance. And as you can see in the graph on the right-hand side, up to a volume level of 66, which is already quite loud, we managed to have a very good noise signal-to-noise level. So we can suppress the noise level, bring it down in comparison to former solutions we applied. And only if you really go louder than 66, the noise slightly increases. However, in such a case, it doesn't matter anymore, because the music signal anyhow is very loud, so you will not notice any noise in the music. So that's a really nice achievement we have done here to improve the audio quality. I spoke about digital connectivity and integration of TV. As you can see, we have 3 optical inputs, 1 coaxial input, and the nice thing is that these input connectors we do sense. So that actually means as soon as the product, even if it's in standby mode, as soon as it detects a signal supplied to these inputs, the unit automatically powers on and automatically switches to the specific input. So you can select in the setup menu which input you would like to assign to your TV. Let's say optical 1, so customer switches on the TV. The amplifier also switches power on and automatically switches to optical input 1. Another nice feature is here for the TV integration is that you actually can learn some commands of your TV remote to the PMA-900 using the HEOS app, and then you can control the PMA-900 by the TV remote. So you don't have to swap between the TV remote and the amplifier remote, for example, to change the volume. You can learn mute, you can also learn power on off, and you can also learn all the input switching if you like. At the beginning, I mentioned that mechanical construction is very important as well. A solid foundation is always key to keep the audio signal as clean as possible, because any vibration can also influence the audio signal, which is processed inside the product itself. You can imagine if you easily understand it, if you have a wired in-ear, a headphone, and you touch a cable, there's some noise also traveling through the cable to your earbuds, and you can hear the sound. So that's also what actually can happen on a product itself. One source of vibration in such an amplifier is of course a big power transformer, what you can see pictured on the left-hand side on the left picture. And that's why we put underneath the transformer a 1.6 millimeter thick metal base, just to make it more solid, more stiff, and to reduce vibration. There's some special treatment on the chassis itself, which you can see on the second pictures, just to stiffen the overall base chassis. The top lid shown on the third picture also got some embossed lines also here to reduce vibration which can occur from the top lid. And to give it a solid stand, we have some feet which have a very special structure inside, which is pictured here on the right hand side. So we call it high density feed, which is very solid and reduces vibration again. Overall, it sums up to a very nice connected amplifier, the 900NE. And as said, our goal was to get a hi-fi amplifier which is connected, which has phono connectivity for MMC and keeps the price below 1,000 euro. And we nicely achieved that one here. And if you look to the product, which here on the picture, or which you later on will see again during the question and answer sitting beside me, it's a really nice solution. Yeah, we have the high power with the Denon sound quality. We have the HEOS built in for the network connectivity. We have the quality parts for the sound tuning. The inner construction, mechanical construction is very clean. We use the DA converter, the ES9018, which is also well reputed for the sound quality. And all together, we really have a nice amplifier, really standing for the Denon sound quality and Denon build quality, and which nicely fits to the DCD-900NE. And talking about the DCD-900NE, it's pictured over here in premium silver, but we also have it, of course, in black available. And it comes with a very clean layout. On the left-hand side, you have the USB connectivity, while on the right-hand side, you have all the controls. The aluminium front is very clean and slightly curved on the top, so it looks really elegant and is real value for money. If you look to the rear, nothing spectacular, except what I would like to mention are two things here. On the right-hand side, you have the power inlet, which actually gives the possibility to upgrade the performance even by applying higher quality power cord. So the one which is coming with the unit is good. But you know, in this class, people already start to play around with different cables and also like to maybe test out different power cords. So we have the option here, which is a nice opportunity. On the left-hand side of the product, you can see the analog output. And here I would like to mention that we have single RCA terminals for the left and right, and not combined one like you have found on the 800 series. You can see it here on the picture as well. If you look to the bottom of the slide, you can see the rear of the two units. So you can already see that also here, the product, the 900, really evolved over the time over the 800s. There was no power socket. There have been a very simple left-right RCA terminal. So that's already great step ups to improve the performance. Looking inside, you can see that first of all, it's very obvious that we gave a bigger chassis to the DCD, extended by about 6 centimeters. So it's a perfect match to the amplifier, to the PMA-1700NE to make a nice system. The inside, you can see, has a very clean layout as well. Looking from the right to the left now, because on the right we have again the power supply, at least for the power transformer and the power supply for the digital domain and for the processing of for the microprocessor. On the left-hand side, you can see on the top, that's the power supply actually for the DA conversion and the output stage, which is just underneath this little power supply on the left. So very close, short ways here as well to get clean power to the output stage. That the output stage pictured here, and you can see, the yellow arrows are actually the signal paths and coming directly from the DA converters. So it's very short path again. You see the single RCA terminals, which I mentioned. The good thing is by this layout, so first of all, we also increase the space of the board. So we have much more space for the signal routing. We can better separate the left and right channel on the board, which actually helps to improve crossover, which helps again to get a cleaner signal. Overall, in the end, it's all about the audio performance. The cleaner the signal is, the better is the audio performance. The more details we have, the more refined we can get the audio signal. Quickly talking about digital signal, we have the Advanced AL32 Processing Plus on the DCD-900NE, which actually does an upsampling by 16 times. So everything gets upsampled to 705 or 768 kilohertz. That's the 16 times the sampling frequency of the CD, or 48 kilohertz signal. We have the bit extension from 16-bit to 32-bit. In the end, what comes after the AL32 processing is that we do have a more refined digital signal, which then will be passed on to the DA converter, which overall gives us again a more clean, more detailed, more fine analog audio signal. And again, it's all about audio performance. We talked about vibration, and when we talked about the PMA-1700NE, and also, of course, that's very much the same story here on the CD player. We want to have as quiet situation for the player as possible, and to do that, already the key, the first point of contact with the audio signal is picking it up from the CD by a laser. And on the left hand side, it's a mechanism actually which is holding the CD and picking up the signal. So we improve the bracket underneath the mechanism to make it more solid and less vibrating. So by that we again get a better digital audio signal already. So, and then once we have done everything correct, we have to start the fine-tuning by the right components, and just an example here of some of the parts we do use: RMAS resistors, MERF resistors, audio capacitors for RFY or for RFO2, and some film capacitors. So it's all different parts. They do look the same, for example, if you look to the audio cap, but they do have a different performance, a different character and sound, which we do know well, so we can utilize these parts to overall balance the Denon sound during the tuning process to get our vivid and spacious Denon sound. There's a lot of details, a little sparkling, forward presentation towards listener with a big sound stage. So just again here a quick overview. Price tag is $499 on the CD player as a perfect match to the amplifier. What we didn't talk about so far is that we also have the USB-A input on this unit, which enables the customer also to play back high-resolution audio files, because it does support DSD 5.6 and PCM 192 kilohertz formats. So that's a very nice opportunity for the customer, for the user, to get into high-resolution audio performance. And yeah, for the DA conversion, we utilize the same DA converter as we do for the PMA-900. It's the ES1980 K2M. We do have the pure direct mode and some refinements with the components and the power sockets and the separate RCA terminals. So it really nicely sums up to a high quality CD player, which nicely fits to the amplifier. Together, it's the 900 series. 3 points I just would like to touch quickly on to remember. It's a real true Denon Hi-Fi solution. You have seen what we all did inside to really make it a Denon product. All the efforts we took to get it solid, from the power supply to the mechanical construction up to the parts used to fine-tune the sound. We have the extended digital connectivity that doesn't stop with optical and coaxial for the TV integration, but it extended to USB input, plus the HEOS for the network streaming, because that was a key aim we had for the amplifier. And we do have the legacy audio support, because there are so many CDs out there, there are so many vinyls out there which are still with the customers. So we want to ensure that they have the best tools to listen to it. The DCD-900 is perfectly fitting to play the CDs, while the MC input on the amplifier is open to connect to any turntable record player at the customer's home. So it's a very strong solution for, in a package deal, 1,500 euro. So this was the 900 series, very quick, very brief. I would like now to start to go into the PMA-1700NE, and I just would like to highlight first what is written top right, because the product itself is made in Shirakawa. So in Japan, that's where our own factory is, where we do have the research and development facilities, where actually the engineering, the development engineers are very closely also to the production facilities. So there's a very close connection between actually the development, the evaluation of the product, the tuning of the product, and the production. Short ways, best way to get the right information, and that's very beneficial for all our product development. And what we do learn by developing products and producing products in our own factory in Shirakawa, of course, we also share with the location outside of Japan, for example, in Vietnam, where we do produce our other products. Two other points to highlight here is underneath the product, it's the ultra high current MOSFET technology. That's quite different technology for the amplification used for the PMA-1700 in comparison to the 900. As you will see on the pictures later on, it's a completely different structure. And we optimize also the power output stage on this unit here. We shortened, let's say, from a 3-stage concept to a 2-stage concept to optimize the overall performance. And on top of it, this unit also comes with digital connectivity. It has the optical and coaxial connectivity, plus the USB duck functionality, so which enables you to directly connect the computer to the amplifier to stream your high resolution music played back on the computer in a native mode on the PMA-1700NE. And of course, the digital signal also gets processed here again with the AL32 processing, just to get the best audio performance. The A converter used here in the PMA is the PCM-1795, and that's actually the same DA converter also used on the PMA-A110, our anniversary model. So let's have a quick look here to some of the highlights, which I already mentioned. Integrated amplifier with duck mode, USB duck, so connect your computer, phono MC as well, but of course in a much more advanced version in comparison to the 900 series, because we are talking actually double of the price. So the PMA-1700 sells for 2,000 euro. The amplifier stage is a new one, just reduced to 2 stages to have a faster and cleaner signal amplification. Electrical volume control, you already heard about how we utilize it on the 900 series. In a similar way, we do it here for the 1700 as well. And a new feature to this unit is now also the external input. So that means you can use the product as a power amplifier. So by that, you can nicely combine it into an AV system for driving your front speakers. Let's have a quick look to the output power stage. You see, very different to what has been pictured for the PMA-900. If you have a look to the picture on the right-hand side, you actually have 2 heat sinks. One is for the left channel, one is for the right channel. So by that, we optimize the channel separation. In the center, you see this red rectangle, which actually is around the main capacitors. I also mentioned that one on the 900 series. These main capacitor actually do hold the energy where the output stage MOSFET takes the energy from when it's required to get it very fast. That's where we also again selected very nice block capacitors, and this is done by our sound master again, of course, Yamauchi. Just a very quick explanation about the different type of amplification. On the 900 series, we do use standard transistors, while on the 1700 units here, we do use MOSFETs. MOSFETs is selected from Denon for higher quality products because they have quite some benefits when it comes to the audio performance, because they are very capable when it comes to deliver high current very fast, and high current is needed to control your speakers very well. So example, if you have a bigger size floor stand speakers having a heavy bass drum, the PMA-1700 can keep best control over the bass drum because it can deliver current very fast. So overall, this gives you again a very natural, clear sound. Looking to the signal routing in here, going from left to right, while we have the top view here, on the left-hand side, you can see two power transformers feeding actually the power stage, which is in the center. These power transformers are turned by 180 degrees, so any leakage current can be eliminated. In the center, you see the power stage, which you have seen on the former page. On the right-hand side, every input connectivity is covered. Signal routing, digital connectivity is again in a shielded case so that there's no interference to the analog part. And you can see the signal routing is done from the rear right input directly feed into the output stage, passing by the electrical volume control. So very clean, very straightforward in the PMA-1700. Rear connectivity, digital connectivity, optical coaxial USB dock, pictured on the left-hand side, top right, phono MC, and on the right-hand side, the lower corner, we have the external input, which actually means it's a power amp direct input, so you can utilize the unit as a power amplifier. And this can actually now be selected via the input selector, so you don't have to press an extra button. It is dedicated input now on this unit. On the DA converter side, you see also here it's very nicely laid out board, the DA circuitry, which is done fully symmetrical as well here for getting a clean analog audio signal. On the right-hand side, you can see the full board and the shielding case. So just to prevent any digital noise traveling throughout the unit into other areas. If you look to the input board, the analog input board, again, you can see on the left-hand side all the input connectors, followed by the relays, as you also have seen on the PMA-900. This is pretty nicely done, and we have a very good signal-to-noise ratio, improved over former models, and we have the MC support for the phono. Looking to the cosmetic ID change in comparison to the 1600 unit, as you can see, we have a larger display. So this is not physical larger, but it's also a different type of display. It's now an OLED display, which has a nicer resolution, but also benefit in having less noise. So that already improves again our signal-to-noise ratio. Readability is improved. It gives you all the indication of the input, the volume, and frequency sample rate. We have an additional button on the front, just the top over the tone control to select the MC input for the phono. And we have a changed structure of the top lid to have more ventilation hole, to have a better temperature stability inside the unit. So that was very briefly in a nutshell what the PMA-1700NE can do and how it differentiates towards the PMA-900NE. Overall, I think these three products are a very nice addition or replacement, upgrade in our hi-fi portfolio, and that's it from my side with the presentation part, and I'm now happy to go into the question and answer. Hello, Frederick.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Oliver. That was very comprehensive. 3 products in 1 session. We have a couple of questions, and there's also a couple that weren't answered in session 1. We can address those too if we have enough time. So first question, why is there no HDMI input on the amplifier for use with a smart TV? That's a question from Mike, and I think he's referring to the ARC HDMI input.
Right. Yeah, so if you talk about the PMA-900NE, so the key was for us to keep the price tag below €1,000, and adding HDMI connectivity to it would have meant that we have to increase the price by at least €200. And with having optical input, normally any TV today can be easily connected also via this solution, and having the input sensing and the remote learning functionality, I think we can easily ignore the HDMI connectivity to keep the price underneath 1,000.
That's right, and that actually brings us to the next question with a scenario about the remote sensing. So say you're listening to a CD on optical 3 and your Skybox, I assume that's a TV set-top box, is connected on optical 1. So when the Skybox switches on to record, will the amp switch over to the CD input from the CD to the Sky input and interrupt the CD playing? I think it's all programmable. You can set what you really like it to do, right?
Yes and no. So if you assign the optical 1, for example, to your Skybox, and its input sensing is set to on, it will start to power or change the input on the amplifier. Because as soon as an optical signal is supplied via the optical input, the amplifier assumes I want to listen to my optical input 1 now. Yeah. So if you want to avoid it, you just have to assign a different input or deactivate the auto sensing. That's of course possible.
Right. A question about the power. It's 85 watts at 4 ohms with what total harmonic distortion percentage and measured at what frequencies? We're going very technical here.
The 85 watts are measured with 1 kilohertz. And I have to lie now, I think it's 1% THD. Yeah, if we go to full range and 8 ohms on 007 THD, it will be roughly about 50 watts.
Okay. Question from Ashley. What's the purpose of the audio recorder out? That's something legacy that we've seen on many older ones.
Yeah, so
particular scenario.
So for some people still having open reel, or this might be a function they still want to use. I don't see people anymore connecting a cassette deck to it while it's still possible. Actually, it's a feature you don't really need to have, but if you leave it off, you will get complaints. So that's why it's on.
Right. There was a question in a previous session. Does the PMA-1700NE have 4 transistors per channel like the Model 40N from Marantz? And we can explain the differences in topology here.
Yeah, right. It's completely different topology. As I already mentioned during the presentation, the PMA-1700NE uses MOSFET. So it's a completely different type of transistor device in comparison to a standard transistor. It's the way of working is completely different, and the configuration you can't compare to Model 40N. So Model 40N, it's using normal transistors, and to get the higher current capability, we do use 2 in parallel. While the MOSFET itself, the way Denon is using the MOSFET transistor, is already capable of handling higher currents. So that's why we picked for Denon this MOSFET device as a single unit, not in parallel.
Exactly. For those who don't know, could you explain again what the NE stands for? I heard new evolution, new era. Exactly what is it?
Yeah, in the end, we agreed all to use the new era as a replacement for the AE, Advanced Evolution, I think it was. So new era is the one we use officially.
Good question about the subwoofer output on the PMA-900. Is that a fixed subwoofer output? I believe it is. You can't set the crossover frequency there, right?
No, you can't. It's fixed to 80 hertz.
Okay, that's confirmed. Are we planning to introduce a cheaper streaming unit or something similar to the DNP-800NE to pair with the 600 series?
And that will be quite difficult. Of course, we always look into the possibilities to extend the lineup. However, we more see that customer would rather pick a PMA-900NE than having a 600 and an additional network player to it. Yeah, so for now, there's nothing in the pipeline in this class.
Right. Now, back to the PMA-900, is that considered a high current amplifier? Ashley is asking.
Yeah, it is, while it's a different topology than we see on the PMA-1700. So the 1700 is an ultra high current because it has a MOSFET. It can even handle a much higher current as the 900. So, but also here, I explained that the main capacitors, which I pictured of the PMA-900 from the company Elner, are capable of delivering high current rather quickly, and that helps to control your speaker, while it is not ultra high current.
Right. Good question again. What type of speakers from the Sound United portfolio are a good match with both amps?
Yeah, you can pick from, let's say, any brand we have in our portfolio. You can go to Polk Audio, for example, and select a nice speaker from the Signature range, which is very attractive price-wise. If you want to step up a bit, you go to the Revolution series. If you want to go to DT, we have the Demand series with 3 bookshelves and 2 floor standing speakers. Or you go into the Bauer segment. You have the 600, the 700 series of Bauers, which are also nice matches to the 900, but also, especially then, if you talk maybe about the 700 series for the PMA-1700NE.
Yeah, I think you were talking about the Polk Reserve series. We've had some nice combinations.
Yeah.
There's too many SKUs at Sound United, seriously. So Polk Audio has very nice synergy as well. The Reserve bookshelves, R200 we tried, it's pretty good. Whichever speaker you basically try, because you have high current amplifiers, you're able to drive them without any efforts. So I'm pretty sure you guys can find exactly what's a good match.
So actually the Denon amplifiers are not, let's say, picky on what you connect to it. Yeah, so it's of course every speaker you select will have a certain influence to the overall sound characteristic. So that's a matter of taste in which direction you go. But actually the amplifiers of Denon can really handle a wide variety of speakers. So there's actually no limitations.
Right, so when you say high current, a question from Mike again, what value of current is delivered by the 900, PMA 900?
I would have to look it up. So I would say somewhere 30, 40 ampere in peak, in this range somewhere.
Yeah, and then there's the impossible question to answer how a PMA 900 compares to Amran's PM-1700NE. There are different sound signatures, first of all, but you can go a little bit deeper in terms of topology and what the approach is, because they're both integrated connected amplifiers, right?
Yeah, so if you just look to the spec sheets, the feature set is very similar. Out of my head, the 7000N of Marantz has more power, at least on paper. And yeah, as you said, it's a completely different topology. If you now open both products, put them side by side, having a top view into it, you will see you can't really compare these. And the topology, also the design of the output stage is a completely different one on the Marantz side to the Denon. So maybe important to mention here again, we do have dedicated engineering teams for Denon and Marantz under the Sound United brand. So it's completely kept separate to really keep also the identity of the Denon and the Marantz brand inherent, and also the sound masters are completely separated. So on Denon we have Yamauchi-san, while on Marantz we are working with Ogata-san. And we also do use different parts. So I mentioned sound tuning parts. Also here, Ogata-san has a different selection than Yamauchi-san.
And then also lastly, the two brands are positioned in a different way, targeting different customers as well. That's another thing. I've got one more last question before we go. What's the purpose of that plastic sheet that's on top of the amplifier?
Yeah, it's actually for safety reason put onto the product. Without this plastic sheet, of course, we don't like it. We would love to get rid of it, but we are forced to put it on because of safety reasons. Without this plastic sheet, we wouldn't get the safety approval. There's a certain limitation or a maximum heat a surface can reach. I think it's by 55 degrees Celsius, and if it exceeds this level of 55, there needs to be an additional protection for the customer so that he doesn't get burned. And this 55 degree we do exceed on a test bench. So if the product is running under full throttle and over a longer period of time, a certain area gets hotter than 55. So that's why we had to apply this plastic sheet.
Okay. Look, it looks like we've all answered the questions online. We've backtracked on some of them from the first session, so that's great. I guess it was very well explained. Thank you very much, Oliver, for that.
Sounds good. Yeah, very happy. Thank you everybody here for joining the webinar, for spending the time to learn about the new Denon SKUs. Very happy to answer additional questions. If anything pops up into your mind after the webinar, just send a mail to us. We are happy to help you out with the answers. You will get the presentation of as a PDF file, and you also get a coverage of the questions asked and answered. So you can take the file to, let's say, refresh your mind or dig a bit deeper into some of the stuff you didn't catch up or I didn't explain in all details. Have a look to it. As said, if you have any question, just come and ask. Thank you, Frederick, for your support, helping out here. Thanks to my team over here as well. And thank you, everybody, and have a nice day. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.